In the previous chapter, we managed to create hundreds of tiny creatures from the sand of a completely dry river, but this time I decided to go much further, heading out in search of SHREK'S SWAMP, a nearly impossible mission in the middle of summer. A dark, damp, and forgotten world where life takes shapes you never expected to find. I pushed deep into the forest, walking for kilometers, navigating obstacles with predators hidden at every step. And here even the ground devours. These holes in the sand are the perfect trap set by completely invisible creatures, hunting every insect unlucky enough to fall into their funnel. But I could not afford to linger too long because night would be falling on me soon. I picked up the pace, and if I am being honest, there came a point where I was no longer sure I was heading in the right direction. But I finally made it, and the place looked a little dangerous. This type of shallow water with almost no current is one of the richest and most complex ecosystems that exist. Beneath that calm and seemingly harmless surface hides a density of life that few would ever imagine, creatures that have spent millions of years adapting to this very specific environment, developing survival strategies you will not find anywhere else. I collected some soil, water, and aquatic plants, hoping to be able to create and sustain the ecosystem I had in mind. I was already eager to get home and find out what was hiding inside all of it. The next day, once the water in the jar had settled and the sediment sank to the bottom, I could see clearly what looked like a snail, but something about it was off. I had never in my life seen a snail with that color and shape. It was most likely extremely adapted to its environment, camouflaging itself with its dark tone, a creature very hard to spot and with qualities I was about to find out. It had a kind of proboscis that ended in its mouth, and its antennae were arranged in a way completely unlike any snail I had ever seen before. But what intrigued me most was something else entirely. Despite being able to climb all the way up to the waterless surface of the jar, it never once did, as if the oxygen from outside simply meant nothing to it. The jar was full of plants I had added to provide oxygen to the ecosystem, something it wasted no time taking advantage of to feed. Its appetite was enormous, devouring even the toughest stems of the aquatic plants without any apparent effort. I quickly started noticing other creatures much smaller, some moving with an almost hypnotic slowness and others shooting across the jar at a speed I could barely keep up with on camera. But right when I was completely focused, pushing the camera to its absolute limit, with the zoom maxed out, something dropped from the surface and managed to startle me. The snail had devoured one of the plant stems to the point where it simply snapped, falling to the bottom right beside it, and the most unsettling part is that it just kept eating as if nothing had happened. This moment struck me in particular because it shows just how much destructive capacity such a small creature can have on its own environment. Something that in a space as small as a jar can quickly become a real threat to the balance of the entire ecosystem. It was consuming a piece of plant larger than itself, and that made me think about what would happen once a week had gone by inside the jar. With an appetite like that, it was only a matter of time before the plants started running out, and without plants there would be no oxygen, and without oxygen the entire ecosystem would be at risk. There were also other snails of different species that seemed completely harmless, moving calmly along the walls of the jar without disturbing anything around them. But then I discovered something I was not expecting, something that from that moment on I simply could not stop watching. Tiny, almost microscopic creatures resembling small water fleas, moving in a way I had never seen before in any ecosystem. They did not behave like the rest of the creatures in the jar. They did not search for food individually. They did not flee randomly. They did not follow any pattern I could recognize. They formed small communities, compact groups that interacted with each other constantly. And the most curious part, the thing that truly left me speechless, is that at times they seemed to be playing. They would greet each other, bother one another, dart away for no apparent reason as if trying to hide in some corner of the jar and then come back, always together, always in a group, as if there was some kind of bond between them that I simply could not understand. I spent quite a while watching them without being able to pull the camera away, trying to find some logic in everything they were doing. A behavior so strange and so fascinating that it remains, to this day, a complete mystery to me. I believe they spend their time filtering organic matter from the sediment, which is why I always found them at the very bottom of the jar. Sometimes they would disappear in fractions of a second, becoming virtually invisible among the grains of sand, as if they were just another one. There were also creatures hiding among the plants, making movements so subtle they barely stood out from the background. Makeshift shelters in every stem, in every leaf. Though with that snail's appetite, it was only a matter of time before they would be left without a home. It is interesting how time seems to move so much slower here. Pay close attention to this creature that, seen up close, looks like it belongs to another universe and yet lives right beside us. This is a mosquito larva breathing through a tube-shaped siphon that breaks the water surface like a natural snorkel. It spends the stage of its life suspended upside down, completely still for seconds at a time, then darting away in sudden bursts when it senses danger. Right after that, I came across a real predator. This was a damselfly larva, recognizable by those 3 characteristic tail gills. They feed mainly on mosquito larvae, but they are also scavengers, and something few people know, they do not hesitate to attack other larvae of their own kind when hunger sets in. This small larva we are watching is in serious danger. Being this close to the larger one, it could be attacked at any moment. There is probably so much food in the ecosystem that they simply do not need to attack each other. These larvae can spend months entirely underwater before transforming, shedding their skin up to 12 times throughout that process. When the moment comes, they climb out of the water, and within hours their body completely transforms into an adult damselfly, a creature capable of flying, hunting midair, and seeing in almost every direction at once thanks to their enormous compound eyes. Other simpler life forms, looking like transparent worms, gradually began to appear, and when I focused my attention on the surface, I spotted a tiny beetle that seemed to be hunting the oxygen bubbles, interacting with them as if it were trying to feed on the air trapped inside. Behind every single one of these videos are countless hours of patience, observation, and effort to capture these hidden worlds. If you are as passionate about exploring these aquatic micro-ecosystems as I am, leaving a like truly makes a huge difference and helps this channel keep growing. As for me, I'll be glued right here, keeping a close eye on this jar because I'm sure there are still many secrets left to uncover. I'll bring you all the updates in the upcoming videos.